Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Can I ask people to sit down, please? Take their place at the back. Thank you. Now we have School of Science representatives. We have candidates Nathaniel and Muniba, and then we have Obi, Maisa, and Rainier. So without further ado, we'll proceed to the format for the debate. I'd like to inform you that we'll start with intro by the EC, which is ongoing. Then we'll proceed to opening statements by the candidates. Then we'll proceed to Q&A by the OBs. OBs have 15 minutes to ask the questions. Then we'll proceed to Q&A from the audience, then closing statements by the candidates, and then closing statements by the EC. So let's start with the opening statements by the candidates.
Hello. Okay. Good afternoon to everyone, the current OBs, the EC, and the audience. I'm Muniba, a student from the School of Science, currently in Year 3, Semester 1, majoring in biotechnology. I'm running for the position of School of Science female representative alongside Nathaniel. As an event organizer for the Science Club this semester, I have gained significant insight into the inner workings of how events are run, what appeals to students, and where the need lies for further improvement. The position has also inspired me to want to be more involved as an active member of the community.
Hi everyone, I'm Nathaniel from the School of Science, currently in Year 1, Semester 2, and I'm running for the position of School of Science male representative with Muniba. As a subcommittee member for the MUSA School of Science this year, I'm active in most events organized by the MUSA School of Science, and I've experience in logistics and liaison with external speakers and guests. Being in a subcom has inspired me to go further and be more involved and contribute to the School of Science. Working with Muniba, we have come up with some new ideas we plan to introduce mentioned in our manifesto. To give everyone an overview of our manifesto, we aim to continue the legacy of our predecessors, to make tangible change, and to make all aspects of being a science student more opportunistic.
All right, so let's get into our manifesto then. One thing that we've noticed as science students is that research is the building block of science, and Year 1 and Year 2 students rarely get any hands-on research experience. Therefore, we aim to provide shadowing opportunities and apprenticeships with postgraduate students, the ones who are willing to guide the undergraduate students. Another thing we noticed is that science students rarely get any exposure outside the classroom. This includes company visits, and they don't know what life looks like after they graduate and what a career in the industry actually looks like. Therefore, we propose increased exposure outside the classroom through company visits, which are designed and catered to their career, to their specific majors. Moreover, we also aim to hold inter-university events, such as mingle nights and conference-style events between other universities' STEM-related organizations, such as IMU, and these will be for the sole purpose of networking and socializing so that students from Monash and other universities can interact and see what other courses look like. Another area that we've really noticed is that science courses such as Bachelor of Medical Bioscience, they have very limited electives, and therefore students struggle with picking their electives because this is a very important decision in the duration of their course. Therefore, we aim to provide more guidance for elective units by means of a School of Science elective unit series, which will be short interviews on students in these elective units to provide School of Science students with better insight in unit selection.
To continue where Muniba left off, we also aim to establish a science fair where students can collaborate in teams and present ideas, shed awareness, or invent methods for themes and topics to expert panel members. We will also carry on the legacy of our predecessors by establishing student chapters to allow School of Science students to participate in events and activities related to their course, including competitions and events outside Monash. Lastly, we aim to create more engaging events with discussions or debates between peers, committee members, and speakers to increase networking within the participants and apply concepts learned. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates, for the opening statements. Now we'll proceed to Q&A by the OBs.
Test. Thank you, Muniba and Nathaniel, for that very excellent introduction from both of you. Now for our questions, we will first begin with asking some follow-up questions to the ones you already answered coming from us. And for the first one here regarding the events in School of Science that are seemingly siloed, where some events are made and publicized by the faculty and other ones are by the School of Science MUSA page and announcement channels. Right, so you guys mentioned about how you guys will streamline the communication in that regard. But streamlining of events could also be interpreted in terms of the event creation itself. So not only in communication, in the dimension of communication. So do you think collaborating with faculty in this regard can help optimize the effectiveness of our initiatives for the student population? Why or why not?
I think this also really depends on what event is taking place. So I think in terms of career workshops and industry events, it would be very helpful if the faculty also publicized it, because these are more related to students' courses. Whereas things such as mingle nights and social events, it would be better if only we publicize them on our social media channels and these weren't relayed by the faculty, because I feel like if the faculty was relaying these events, it would be a bit more, it would be slightly more chaotic. The communication channels would be more chaotic if that took place.
I would also like to add that we've already, that as a subcommittee of the current MUSA SOS, we've already begun working with the faculty in various events. And one of the examples is our upcoming industry talk, where we have publicized it in our own Instagram page and as well as their own faculty Instagram page. So that is very much, I think, something that we can apply as well next year and work on it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for your answers. Now, going to the next question. It's on your so you mentioned that you plan to collaborate with other parties within the university. Could you elaborate on how collaboration with other parties within the university allow to better understand the needs for students?
I'm sorry, could you repeat your question?
In your KYC, to collaborate within the university, how do you think, could you elaborate on how those collaborations with other parties within the universities, such as clubs, might allow to better understand the needs of students?
Right, so as of now, with the student chapters, I think that's a great example of how we are planning to work with other parties and outside universities as well. So with student chapters, what we've done is we've collaborated with Science Club, and the plans are that we will create different groups within the Science Club, and as well as that, we are also working with outside universities in that regard to as well host inter-university events. So besides student chapters, also inter-university events where we will hope to reach out to other universities and communicate with them and see if they will be willing to create networking events and mingle nights or maybe even talks. Yeah.
To add on, I think to better understand the needs of the students in terms of collaborating with other clubs within Monash, like he mentioned, we're planning on collaborating with the Monash Science Club. I think for the most part, our reach is about the same, the Science Club and MUSA SOS, but I think just gaining their perspective and the Science Club's committee members' perspective on events and what events have been successful for them and what events have not been successful for them, I think that will also be a big help in organizing our future events. Thank you.
Thank you so much, both of you, for your answers. Another question here is with regards to your answers to your vision for running as School of Science representatives. And here we would like to probe a bit more on the area of lack or any particular area in School of Science that both of you find the need to be strongly worked upon. So yes, based on your own experience as a School of Science student, what aspects do you think are lacking? what concrete particular aspects, and how do you plan on improving those aspects? Yeah.
For me, the biggest aspect was in terms of the course representatives, one thing that we really want to do is we want to bolster the role of the course representatives, and we want them to actually, instead of just taking feedback from the students and helping out with that, we want them to also guide students in terms of unit selection. So how I mentioned earlier that we plan on guiding students with the elective unit selection, we want the course representatives to play a bigger role in that, because ideally it would be the course representatives who would be best suited for that role, because they'll be coming from Bachelor of Medical Bioscience and Food Science and Technology, so they would know what elective units would better suit that course. And therefore I think like we would like to, I guess, change up their role a bit and like slightly add a bit more to their role and let it be a slightly bit more, like they would, how do I say this? Communicate with the students more in terms of the unit selection. Thank you.
All right, just a bit of follow-up on that question. Does that mean you think that that is the biggest lack in School of Science with regards to electives? Or that to be?
I think that's one of the places that I think might need more support from SOS, yeah.
I'd also like to add on that one area that we plan to work on is definitely student feedback, and I think that's one of the most important things, as well as MUSA, SOS, as we are the bridge from the faculty to students. So we definitely plan to continue playing on that goal to be the bridge between the students and the faculty, and definitely work on that. Yeah, even though whether it is an area lack or not, it is our duty, and we will do it nonetheless, whether it is a big concern or not.
Thank you for your answer. Now, going to the next question. Also based on your KYC, the question where you talked about the work ethic towards subcommittee members. You mentioned that you want to be actively involved in subcommittee activities. What do you think are the dangers of this, and how do you plan to avoid them?
Can we have some time to discuss? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I think the dangers of this is just making the biggest thing is that making sure that the subcommittees and our entire team get along very well, because if our team doesn't get along well, then we may not get work done smoothly and efficiently, and that might be the biggest danger. So that and communication, it's very important that our team communicates effectively with each other and with us, and that there's a complete system of transparency. So I think the best thing to to establish that is that at the start we should have a bonding session or some kind of night where we all get to know each other within the team. So I think that's the biggest thing. And then we have open communication channels, WhatsApp groups, as many or as few as we need. And we make sure that the subcommittees know that we are always there to address any problems, and we're always there to listen, and if there's any questions or any concerns, we're always there to answer them. I think that's the biggest way we can address these dangers.
And I think to solve those communication problems that can arise, I think one of the greatest ideals that we should have, that we have adopt, I think, is the fact that as representatives and as the MUSA SOS, we are not in fact just the representatives that represent MUSA SOS. It is in fact the whole team that represents MUSA SOS. And because of that, whatever problems that arise within them will also arise within us. Therefore, we will ensure to the best of our ability that we provide our subcommittee with as much guidance and as much help as possible, because in the end, everything that we do will be reflected upon as the MUSA SOS, not as the school representatives.
Thank you so much for answers. A little bit of follow-up on that, still regarding subcommittee work ethic here. So from your answers with regards to this particular question, the KYC, it seems that both of you will be taking a more accommodative approach to the subcommittee. And with this approach, how do you ensure that you will still be taken seriously and be able to exercise the required authority and control over them as well?
I think in terms of leadership, the most important thing is that you establish your authority from the get-go and make sure that, like, I guess they know that, you know, as much as we want their ideas and we look forward to their ideas, because we know that the subcommittee members will have great ideas and both me and Nathaniel want to work with them based on that. I think that as much of like collaboration is wanted, we also need to make sure that we establish our authority. And this isn't something that is forced, it's just something that you do in, like, when when we're interviewing them and when we have these meetings with them, we're running those meetings and we're kind of organizing them. And I think those small actions establish our authority along the way. And because we have the event plans and the general layout, and we have the communications with, for example, the EAC. So I guess those small steps also establish our authority along the way.
As well as that, I'd like to further elaborate by what Muniba also means by establishing authority, is the fact that we want to establish boundaries between, and as well as establish a fact, because the fact is that there is a work relationship and that there's friend relationship, but the fact is that we should always establish boundaries between our subcommittees to make sure that everything runs well, and the fact that I think what's important is we're able to maintain our work relationship and friend relationship, but of course that's one way to establish authority, is we should definitely work on the work relationship and definitely establish boundaries. And establishing boundaries would be from our interview sessions, as well as when we introduce them and we welcome them. It'll be a very good it'll be a good introduction for them to ensure, and we will obviously let them know that these are the boundaries, these are what we expect from you, and obviously we will always try to understand and see where they're coming from if issues do rise, and we will always consider their perspective as well as our perspective, and from there mediate problems and issues that come up.
Thank you so much for your answer. Now moving on to the question. As you may be already aware, there's a new addition to the courses in School of Science, the Bachelor of Applied Data Science. Knowing how different they are compared to other courses under the School of Science, and given that the School of Science already has a lot of courses, what strategies do you have to make events and activities that also caters the needs of these students?
Thank you for your question. I think with the introduction of new courses, the biggest step that we need to take is immediately start getting feedback and start getting feedback on how the course is going in general. And the best way to do this would be by electing a course representative and having that course representative be really involved, because again, it's a new course. So having the course representative be really involved in giving us the feedback, and not just that feedback, but also just how the classes are going and how the students are, are they adjusting well, and communicating that to us. But I think with this specific new course, having more regular meetings with the course representatives would be more effective, like say every 2 weeks. And we also have other feedback platforms in place, such as the rocket ship. And I think that pushing that forward, it would be very effective if we use that for the new intake and for the new students, because it's like every time a new course is introduced, that's where the new students have the most feedback to give. And so it'd be very helpful to gain that feedback for them. And I think communicating with the faculty in terms of this might also be effective.
To remind the OVs that we have only time for one last question.
Thank you so much, both of you. Thank you so much, Muniba. That's a great answer coming from you. Now, with regard for our last question, we would like to ask, okay, how effective do you think is the utilization of our current social media announcement platforms in the School of Science, and how do you plan to proceed with these platforms in your run?
As of right now, I think our Instagram is our greatest strength, as well as our other social media platforms like our WhatsApp and our Discord. Of course, they're not as strong as our Instagram, but we know our strength lies within our Instagram. And with that, I think it is. We know our strengths, and the fact that Instagram also has reels as well as posts. I think we will utilize that to promote events, as well as perhaps our elective unit series, as mentioned in our manifesto, and obviously to cater to be able to promote that our Instagram. We will obviously have it shown during orientation events, during other events as well. However, we will not necessarily undermine our other communication channels as well, our Discord, our WhatsApp. We will obviously keep it running, but understanding that our WhatsApp is our strongest platform, we can provide reels as well as more publicity material focused there, and at the same time have posts published to our other social media platforms as well.
I'd just like to add on that I think having the WhatsApp group for specifically announcements has been very helpful, because it keeps all the announcements in one place, and science students can just open that, as I have done many times, just to see, So I think having specifically just WhatsApp for announcements and then Instagram for everything else is very effective. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your answers, guys.
Thank you, candidates and OBs, for this cross-questioning. Now we'll proceed to questions from the audience. Anyone has a question? If there are no questions from the audience here, there are no questions online, so then we'll proceed to closing statements.
To conclude, we'd like to thank Akitas, we'd like to thank Rainier, MISA, the EC, and everyone for their questions and time. We hope through our manifesto and the questions we answered that you understood what we hope to achieve if we get elected as School of Science representatives, and our aim to make tangible change and aspects of being a science student more holistic.
We hope to be able to collaborate with other departments and the science faculty to help achieve our vision. Being elected would give us the chance to be involved in the student body in ways we hope we will achieve, will improve their academic, social, and personal experience as a science student at Monash. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates, for the closing statements. That was the School of Science representatives. And now we'll proceed to MUSA CRO in a short while. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.